I'm in love with the stripper. She rockin', she rollin', she rollin'. Cause she rockin', she rollin'. I'm in love with the stripper. She rockin'. Woo! Have I ever been in love with a stripper? Maybe from afar. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Well, maybe I didn't know she was a stripper. Well, I guess I probably would have known she was a stripper. But anyway, let's talk about it a little bit. And before we get into that, I just want to give a shout out to my man George from the D, Detroit. What up, though? Detroit. Yo, I remember like going to school. It was like a couple of baddies that went to Detroit. And guess what? Kash Doll is no different. You know what I'm saying? Nice little child. Oh, all right. But I ain't going to get all into that. But the reason I want to talk about this is because a lot of us as guys have been in this situation before. I mean, not that we dated the next stripper, but, and forget that, because she's moved on and does music and Ice Me Out. Ice Me Out. So she's done music, and she was actually pretty good in the BMF series when she was on there also. We've all been in this situation before, though, man. Like, you know, you break up with an ex, and even if you have moved on, or even if you were cheating or doing your thing within it, it's just something about it as a guy when you just know that she's with this other dude, and you know, and everybody else know that she's with this other dude, and you just had kids with her. I don't think that their oldest, I think that their youngest kid may be 1 or 2, not necessarily sure, you had to look it up, but they still have 2 kids together. And, you know, she's been with this guy, you know, for a certain period of time, and not gonna lie, she seems smitten with him. All right. So the other guy, her ex or kid's father, Tracy, you know, I don't know how tall he is, but I know he ain't as tall as this boy. And this boy plays in the NFL. So he plays a true American gladiator sport. So, and I know everybody got guns, but not only is he an NFL guy, star, he also can probably pick most people up and throw them across the room, unless they play in the NFL too. So that's another thing. So it's just a couple of things when you go into a man's psyche and his ego when it has something to deal with his kids. So allegedly they had broken up, and what I mean by them, the guy Zadarius who plays for the Lions, Zadarius and Kash Doll allegedly broke up. And then yesterday, I believe, she posted something on her ex account saying that I love my man, they're back together, and all this other kind of stuff. Typical stuff we all go through in toxic relationships, right? I don't want to say that. I don't know if hers is toxic. But what I want to talk about is the fact that most of us, whether you're a guy or girl, have been through it. But when you decide to move on, and when you decide to move on, how there still are a lot of feelings attached to that person that left you. And so that's why I tried to start by giving the perspective from the guy, Tracy, the kid's father's perspective. And this is a part of the big deal that happens where, and I've been through this, where you have this dynamic where you never got married to the person. Y'all kind of like play in house or whatever. For whatever reason, she left you or you left her. And now y'all both moved on. But it's still hard for you to process that she's, you know, for lack of better words, getting piped out by another boy. It's hard to deal with that. You know, and any women listening, you know, you gotta understand it. There's a totally different psychological deal when a man moves on as opposed to when a woman moves on. You know, because like I always tell people, there are a lot of guys sitting in jail or that will go to jail based off of losing a woman, feeling like the woman has duped him in any way, which isn't right, but it's just a reality situation. Whereas you might find 5 or 6 women throughout the whole country who've done it or who've committed some kind of crime towards their man physically or violently because he's now with another woman. Guys get very, very territorial. Men are very, very territorial creatures, especially when it comes to a woman. All right. Because, you know, you get this bond. You get this, you know, she's with me. I'm with her. She checks in with me. I check in with her. So I was looking at something online. And so the guy, Tracy, the kid's father, is saying how, look, well, I guess I got to start paying for the whole tuition. And look, my son, because they got a son and a daughter. And my son ain't gonna be over there with that guy and her and all this other kind of stuff, because I believe she had gone to a wedding with the guys at Darius, and they had the daughter. She had her daughter with her, and all three of them went to the wedding. A complete mess. A complete mess. And this is something that we see, especially cultural with us, time and time and time again. A complete mess where, and forget the adults in the situation. Forget the adults. Because I always like to think about and worry about the kids and what their reality of what they perceive. Well, mommy and daddy, because everybody has been through this before, that has kids, especially younger kids. Mommy and daddy, are y'all getting back together? Or mommy and daddy, I want you two to be, can we all live in the same house again? Mommy and daddy, can we all go back to Disney World together? Things like that. And even as a man, at times that starts to wear on you. And you start thinking to yourself, because in your heart and mind, especially for the way you look at things now, because that's typically the way people look at it, like the sky is falling, it's over. So it's never going to go back to the way it was. And you're sitting thinking to yourself like, wow, I got to explain to the kids that this is never going to be this family structure that we once had. And that's why it's important. Like I tell guys all the time, that even I had to tell myself, it's very important who you have kids by. It's very important who you choose to have children by. Because it can be to your detriment. Because we all know, the laying down and having the fun part of it is the easy part. And that's why so many young kids, so many young people have kids, because they lay down and it's all fun and it feels great and it's beautiful, right? But then once you find out, oh, she's pregnant, or now she's going to have it, or now here comes 9 months later, and I don't care what age you're at certain ages, you're able to deal with it better. It's an easier thing to deal with, especially if you're not married. So it's a little easier to deal with because, of course, inside of the union of marriage, as long as both of you on board as far as having kids, neither one of y'all care about having a kid because that's what you wanted, right? But when you're summarily dealing with people or just having casual random sex or doing whatever, then what happens is that this can become the outcome. And so, as great as Kash Doll is, she got in her life together. She got her, she's a pretty girl. She got all this other kind of stuff together, although she still has a past. But she's the person that chose these guys. Now, I think that this guy, the guy that's in the NFL, seems like a decent guy. Seems like a decent dude. We clearly know what he does. He comes across as a very mature guy. He's not the one online saying stuff. But my thing for Zadarius would be, my God, after getting over how Kash Doll looks and all that stuff, Dad, do you want to deal with this for the next 10 years of your life? You feel like dealing with, that's why for a lot of reasons, a lot of years, I dated women with no kids. So I started getting older and everybody had kids, right? But, because it's like, do you want to deal with this kind of stuff? Do you want to deal with, like a hostile baby dad coming around talking all this stuff, and then you're a public figure because you play in the NFL, so you still have a publicist, you have other people that and especially the NFL, because we know the NFL is no tolerance on a lot of stuff. So you got all of these different entities that you have to answer to, and you're dating this woman, and yes, you should be able to date whomever you want to, but you're dating this woman and her baby daddy is on the side acting like a crazy ball. That what you want to deal with? Because, because I'm a guy, I'm going to give you from the guy's perspective. I tried to do it like a roundabout, but even from the guy's perspective, I mean, Kash Doll is the one winning in this because she got herself her big, tall football man. And, she still got this other guy, her kid's dad, over there tripping off of her. And my thing is that as Zadarius, once again, because that would most likely be me in the situation, like, who wants to deal with that, yo? I don't even know if he has kids, but my thing is that who wants to deal with that? Who wants to deal with all of that drama, all of that toxicity? It's an issue. It's an issue that is prevalent in the black community. It happens in every community, so I don't want anybody to say, oh, it's not just black folks. But us out there that's listening is black, we know it and understand it. And you know exactly what I'm saying. Is that it's too much of a nation of baby mamas and baby daddies, and everybody's just running around here. And then, one day you with the person, next day you not. One day you with the person, next day you not. And I'm telling you, all you got to do is search YouTube. There's plenty of clips. Guy finds out, we're going to start doing some of those in the next upcoming weeks. When I'm looking all the time, guy goes up to his job. He thinks that all three of the kids are his. He goes up to his wife's job at the time. After he does swabs behind her back, finds out that the kids are not his. And then he goes up there and just starts unloading on her. Thankfully, she didn't die. But, he goes up there and just starts unloading on her. Just trying to be more responsible in what we do, because especially now with cameras and everything, people getting caught. I seen other stuff on YouTube. The guy comes back and beats his girlfriend up because she sees like the neighbor had a Ring camera. You ready for this? So the neighbor has a Ring camera. All right. I guess at the house or the complex, wherever they live at. So she goes walking past with the guy that she's cheating with. So she obviously, I guess, goes to her to the house that she lives in with this guy, not the guy she's with, but her boyfriend or her husband. And then about 2 hours later, you see her and the guy seeming like they kind of drunk, going right back past the Ring camera again. So what the neighbor does, the neighbor says, "Hey, look, dog, check this out. Hey, yo, this is your girl going across, you know what I mean, or your wife, whatever. Is this her? Because I know that ain't you." And supposedly he wound up getting arrested because he came back and beat her up. Once again, never condoning any violence like that, but we have to be careful about the decisions we make, who we choose to date, especially as you get older. And when I say with older, even for that, 25 and up, but I typically say 35 and up. Make sure you know who you're dating. And I'm telling you, fellas, even ladies, make sure you really know who you're having a kid with. Even if you get in a relationship with it, how they be like, he's just a little crazy. Here, look, no, make sure you know who you're in a relationship with. Who knows why Kash Doll, picked the other guy? Well, I don't know. I'm not from Detroit. Most of us don't know. But she did. And at the time, years ago, she seemed happy with him. But now she's with somebody else, and it's hard for him to deal with. But if I was a Darius, guess what? I wouldn't want to deal with all of that extra drama that's going to come with it either. But you tell me what you think. And while you're thinking about that, make sure you live life. Don't let life live you.